Hey.
Hi. Have you chosen your classes for next year yet?
Yeah, but I'm kind of upset about it.
Why? What happened?
Well, you see, I really wanted to take IB Economics, but like the class was full, so now I'm taking IB Physics.
Aren't they both IB courses though? That doesn't seem that bad.
Yeah, which is why IB Physics was offered as the next best alternative.
Isn't there a word for that?
Yeah, it's called opportunity cost. It's where you lose one alternative for the next best alternative.
Okay, so why are you so upset about taking physics? Like, it seems to be fine.
Yeah, it's not that bad, but like it's just not personally for me. Like I was really looking forward to Econ, you know?
But should you be facing important decisions based off what you think is personally favored? Like, shouldn't you go based off what actually is better for you? Like, don't you want to be an engineer in college? Taking physics would be better for your future, right?
Oh wow, silly me. I should have thought about how to use my maximum potential for my future.
Yeah, it's like how countries produce either capital goods or consumer goods based off what's better for their future and their economy.
What are capital and consumer goods?
Well, a capital good is a good that's used to produce other goods, like machines, tools, and vehicles. A consumer good is a good that's bought to be used, like food.
Oh, consumer goods. It's like the Patriots jerseys.
Exactly. Like everyone smart owns a Patriots jersey. You know, they're bought to be consumed.
Okay, so what you're saying is countries have to produce what they need and what's better for them to prosper?
Exactly. It's called economic efficiency.
Wow, econ seems hard. I'm so happy I didn't take it.
Physics.
You see, there are 3 assumptions you always have to make. The first one is that there are only 2 goods on the graph. Second one is that there's no international trade, which means that the economy is producing goods for themselves, not for another country. And the third one is that the economy is operating on the curve. Operating on the curve means that the economy is using all the resources available. On the graph shown, the 2 axes are time spent studying physics and time spent studying econ. On a typical PPC, one axis is meant for consumer goods and the other axis is meant for capital goods. As mentioned in the video, capital goods are goods that are used to produce other goods. So some examples are machines, tools, and vehicles. Capital goods are also goods that are used in the service sector. So if you were a hairdresser, a capital good would be a pair of scissors. Consumer goods are goods that are bought to be consumed. Our video gave the example of a Patriots jersey, because if you're smart, you're going to buy a Patriots jersey and use it and consume that. Other examples are jewelry and food, because they're bought to be consumed. As stated earlier, a point on the graph means the economy is using all of its resources. In this scenario, it means that the student is using all the time they have to study. Points A, B, C, and D all show that a student is using their time efficiently. Point E is a point to the left of the curve, and this means that the economy isn't using its resources efficiently. So in this case, the student isn't spending as much time as they could to study. So point E shows that the student is spending 2 hours on econ and only an hour and a half on physics. That equals 3.5 hours total when they could be spending up to 5. So that is an hour and a half of wasted time. And in an economy, that would be just wasted resources that could be used to further the economy. Point F is a point to the right of the curve, and this shows economic growth. In an economy, the only way to get to this point would be to find new resources and be able to produce more. In our example about studying, the only way to get to point F would be to find more time to study. So if the person took fewer extracurricular activities, this let them study more. This would be a shift right of the entire PPC, not just like a movement along the curve, because you're increasing your resources. The last thing I'm going to talk about is trade-off and opportunity cost. Trade-off is basically increasing one thing leads to decreasing another thing. In this case, moving from point A to point C would decrease the amount of time spent for studying econ by 2 hours and increase the amount of time spent studying physics by 2 hours. Opportunity cost is losing one alternative for the next best one. In our video, Anna said that she couldn't take econ because her schedule didn't allow it, and the next best alternative for her was physics, so her opportunity cost was a loss of econ.
Well, who are you, lovely countries?
I'm the country of Germany.
I am the Democratic Republic of the Congo.
Ah, well, I'm an investor, and my father recently passed away. But I've inherited a large sum of money from him, and I've been thinking about investing it into factories.
Well, can I interest you in setting up your factory in Germany? We produce a lot of capital goods like machinery and vehicles.
Here in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, we produce a lot of consumer goods. For example, textiles and natural resources such as diamond and oil.
Well, why do you guys make such drastically different products?
Well, as a developed nation and the vast infrastructure of my country, we need things like vehicles and machinery in order to expand our economic growth.
As a developing nation, we have a weak infrastructure, so there's a demand for basic necessities.
So, it sounds like you guys are reaching allocative efficiency, making what your people need the most.
Yeah, if I was to produce consumer goods, I would have an absolute advantage over the DRC. But if I was to produce capital goods, I'm gonna have a comparative advantage because I'm producing what my country needs the most.
Well, I do know that the DRC has much less regulation than Germany, so I think I'm gonna go there and use inhumane labor.
So in this skit, we use two countries, Germany and the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Germany on the graph would be represented by point A, while the DRC would be represented by point C. This skit was meant to show allocative efficiency, which is essentially when an effective market is utilizing their resources and capital in a way that is most useful for what their economy currently needs and what their people currently need. So, for example, the DRC is a poorer nation, and therefore their people are more in need of consumer goods like textiles. They also don't have the infrastructure and money to produce the more expensive capital goods in a larger scale. So they're forced to basically produce these cheaper goods, but goods that their economy desperately needs still. Whereas Germany is rich enough to more so import these cheaper goods from other countries like textiles and focus on capital goods like cars for infrastructure, which will, for their economy, be what is most important and increase their long-run economic growth. The concept of allocative efficiency is also closely related to production efficiency, where essentially an economy is producing a good at maximum efficiency, where they can't be making more of that good because they're already making it to the best of their ability.
Hey, I've been looking all over the place for an employee. I swear there used to be more that worked here.
There were, but unfortunately, we are in the middle of a recession. And during a recession, a lot of people lose their job, unfortunately.
What's a recession?
A recession is a period of 6 months in which the GDP is decreasing, and a lot of people lose their job, as the businesses that they work for, are unable to pay them due to lack of money, and that causes us to not be able to fully utilize our resources to reach our max potential.
Well, that sucks.
It does.
You want to talk about sucks? I just lost my job.
Well, I still have my job.
Okay, kid, listen. I am so old that I was around during the 2008 recession. You know what? I kept my job then, but I bet your parents lost theirs.
So how'd they fix a recession back then?
Okay, well, there's two ways to fix the recession. One way is through government intervention. So they'll decrease taxes and they'll increase spending. And through things like welfare programs and stuff like that, just to help people out. Other way, it's kind of annoying. It's this dude named Adam Smith to create this system called laissez-faire. And basically, you just kind of wait around for the economy to fix itself, and a lot of people die that way, which sucks. But, you know.
What do you mean you can't hire me? I need a job.
Look around. There aren't enough customers demanding enough product to hire you.
But I need to feed my family.
Well, come back to me after recession and maybe I'll hire you.
But don't hire her. I need the job. Hire me.
Seems pretty hectic here.
Yep, that's a recession for you, though.
To elaborate more from the situation just shown, the economy is currently in a recession. On the graph, this would be a point within the curve, such as point A. A common misconception about a recession on the production possibilities curve would be where there's a leftward shift of a curve, such as from PPC to PPC1 as shown on this graph. This is wrong because the PPC curve shows the maximum potential an economy can be producing at, and therefore the points along the curve shows that an economy is at full employment. Since the point is within the curve, point A, it shows us how they're producing at a unit that's lower than their maximum potential. In order to shift the PPC curve, there would have to be a change in the factors of production. These are land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. Examples will include advances in technology, education, medicine, or the resources available. If there were a lack of resources, this would be known as a scarcity, where there is unlimited demand with limited supply. The PPC would then shift left as the country is now no longer able to produce more than they were able to before,
as they no longer have the resources to do so. And going back to our scenario, as we are in a recession, if GDP were to increase again and firms get more money, hire more people, and produce at their maximum potential, this would be a period of recovery. And point A on this graph would change to a point along the curve, such as point B or point C.